Next we're going to look at the car interior colours and see if they're all equally likely to be chosen. Let's highlight our data, create a pivot table, insert recommended pivot tables, sum of count by interior. Zoom in some and copy and paste values here so that we can work with this data. So we've got our totals: 98 black interior cars, 50 cream interior cars, 52 grey interior cars. Our null hypothesis is that the car interior colours are equally likely to be chosen. So if that's the case, then we would expect 200 divided by 3 of the cars to be chosen with a black interior, 200 divided by 3 to be chosen with a cream interior, and 200 divided by 3 to be chosen with a grey interior. So that gives us expected counts of 66 2/3 for each. We can calculate a contribution to chi-square from each of these. And it's going to be equal to the difference between what we actually got and the difference between what we would have expected. Square that and divide by what we expected. Divide by the expected value. So there we go. Let me show you that text. Okay. So now we're going to do the same contribution to chi-squared for the next two here. Naturally, we've got smaller numbers here because the number of cream cars, 50, is closer to expected, 67, than the number of black cars, 98, was closer to expected, 67 again. Okay, for our chi-square value, we simply take the sum of these contributions to chi-squares, these guys, and we've got 22.2 as our chi-squared test statistic. So how big is that? Is that big enough to reject our null hypothesis or not? For that we need to calculate its p-value, and we use the chi-squared.dist.right function in Excel. This has two arguments, the chi-squared value and the degrees of freedom, where our degrees of freedom is our number of groups minus 1, or if you prefer, the number of elements of this contribution to chi-squared minus 1. So 3 groups minus 1 gives us 2 degrees of freedom. Hit enter, we're going to find a very small p-value here. So our p-value is 0.000157291. 157291. There we go. So very small anyway, much smaller than 0.05. So we would definitely reject this null hypothesis of equality of likelihood of black, cream and grey in favour of the alternative, which is that there is a significant difference in how likely each of these interior colours is to be chosen.